Most people out there are doing manifestation in what I call the slow lane. They're doing all the things that we've all been told to do. They're journaling, they're writing out affirmations or saying them out loud every morning. They're creating pretty vision boards, they're repeating mantras, and they're spending a lot of time trying to stay in a high vibe. And let me be clear, I don't think any of that is bad. Those things can absolutely make you feel good. I've had times where writing in a gratitude journal or putting on a meditation before bed has completely shifted my energy in a positive way. And I have managed to manifest some things using these tools. And I will tell you soon why that has been and when this doesn't really work. But if you are listening to this podcast, you're probably not someone who wants to just feel better for a few minutes a day, or someone who just wants to be able to manifest sometimes, but not other times. You want results. You want to see the change in your bank account. You want to see the change in your business. You want to see the change in the opportunities that you attract. You want clients signing. You want income that's flowing to you. You want the success that matches all of the efforts that you've been putting in. And if you've ever been doing those rituals, those practices consistently and still found yourself frustrated because the business just isn't growing the way that you want it to, clients aren't coming in as consistently as you'd like them to, money isn't coming in fast enough, then you know what I mean when I say it can feel very, very slow and very, very frustrating. And that's why today I want to break down this difference between what I call regular manifestation and what I practice and teach, which is quantum manifestation. And I'm especially passionate about this when it comes to entrepreneurs because time is literally money. If you're building a business, you cannot afford to spend 5 years waiting for your vision board to materialize. You want things to shift now. You want them to shift quickly. You want more aligned opportunities to come. You want the right people and clients to come, the right ideas, the right momentum, not in a few years, but this month, this week, sometimes even today. And that's where quantum manifestation really comes in. It is, I always call it like a shortcut. I think of it almost like biohacking because it really helps you just biohack your reality and make your reality, just bend reality according to what you want to get out of it. You are literally collapsing timelines and stepping into results that, if you did things the old way, might take years. So, welcome back to the Full Body Yes podcast. And let's dive into the difference between regular manifestation and quantum manifestation. So, let's talk about what I mean by regular manifestation. This is the version that most of us know because it's the one that's been popularized for decades. It's the version that you read about in The Secret, or you'll see loads of TikTok and Instagram videos that tell you all about it, like write down I am abundant 50 times in your notebook and then wait for the money to show up in your bank account. You'll have seen it in plenty of manifestation and reality creation programs and courses that a lot of influencers and so-called manifestation coaches have released over the years. So at its core, regular manifestation focuses on your conscious thoughts and emotions. So you are told, and I remember reading that in The Secret and really embodying it. And there's another book that the same author wrote, which is called The Power. I had to literally stop and look for it, but I found it, The Power. So in both of these books, the author really talks about how you have to stay high vibes all the time and you can't let any negative thoughts come in. So you keep getting told, keep your thoughts positive, visualize your goals every single day, raise your vibration by thinking happy thoughts all the time, do gratitude lists, and the universe will then just match your energy. And it can work. I mean, I have told my story here before of how I manifested two of the most rare, prestigious scholarships for my PhD in the UK. When, let me be honest with you, my PhD topic is not super original, not super, like, not groundbreaking in any way. I definitely manifested and I worked intentionally on manifesting those two scholarships. But the way I did it back then, which was over 5 years ago now, was I had read The Secret, I had read The Power, and I was doing what I was told to do. I was visualizing, I was raising my vibe, I was staying positive, I was journaling every day, and it worked. I manifested. But do you know why? That is because when it comes to studying, when it comes to academia, I have very, very quote unquote good subconscious programming. I have had evidence my whole life that I'm very good at that. I am very good at studying. I am very good at getting good grades, at getting teachers and professors to think that I'm great, at winning awards when it comes to school and university. So that is why I was able to manifest those two scholarships with those traditional quote unquote manifestation practices. That is because my subconscious mind was fully on board with what I was doing. Okay, let me explain this a bit more. Your conscious thoughts are only a tiny fraction of what's actually creating your reality. Now, what we learned that in the traditional manifestation practices, those things, the affirmations, the journaling, the vision boards, they all work on our conscious mind. But research shows us that something like 95% of our actions, our reactions, our thoughts, our beliefs, and the way that we perceive the world comes from our subconscious mind and our nervous system patterns, not our conscious mind. So when you're, for example, sitting and writing, I am wealthy in your journal, but your subconscious programming is running a completely different script. Like, for example, money is stressful, clients are hard to get, success always comes at the cost of burnout. Then those subconscious beliefs will always win because they run 95% of your day. So it's great that you are writing this affirmation that you are wealthy 50 times in your journal, but that only works on 5% on your conscious mind. But your subconscious mind will always overpower because that is 95% of your reality. So that's why with regular manifestation, results often feel really slow, inconsistent, or kind of random. You know, you'll hear people say, oh, I manifested this amazing free coffee, but my business is still not making money. And that is because surface level rituals can shift small things in your awareness if, your subconscious mind kind of is on board with those small things, but they don't actually rewire the deep patterns that are responsible for creating big realities that you want to shift. So the same financial struggles, the same clients not coming, the same feeling of stuckness just keep showing up. Do you understand what I'm saying? You can manifest small things using the traditional manifestation practices, or you can manifest potentially big things if you don't have subconscious programming that goes against it. So let's say you grew up super rich and you are manifesting a house. You might be able to manifest it using the regular manifestation methods because you have no subconscious programming that says that buying a house is hard. Everyone in your family owns 10 houses. Why would you think that's hard? But if it comes to something that you have subconscious programming that goes against the thing that you are trying to manifest, so if you're trying to manifest big breakthroughs in your business, 100K months, but you are stuck at 5K months for ages, that shows us that there is something in your subconscious mind that goes against the thing that you want to manifest. And that is where quantum manifestation comes in. And I will talk about it soon. But I'll say this too, for entrepreneurs, this approach of traditional manifestation can feel especially frustrating because you are not just manifesting a cute coffee, right? You're not just manifesting a cute coincidence or like a nice parking space. You are building an actual business. You are relying on consistent cash flow. You're working with real clients. You're setting real goals that have huge impact on your day to day life. And so when you're journaling or saying affirmations, but you're still watching your launch flop, or you're still stressing about where your next client will come from, it can make you doubt manifestation altogether. You start thinking, maybe this doesn't work. Maybe it's all BS. But really, the problem is just that you've been working with the surface level practices when the root of your reality is something much, much deeper. And this is where quantum manifestation comes in. And this is where it is so exciting. I have dedicated the last 2 years of my life really diving deep into quantum manifestation, and it has changed my life. Now, the reason we call it quantum manifestation is because a lot of it is based on quantum physics. And if you want a deep dive into quantum physics and how it relates to manifestation, I talked about it, I believe, in episode 3 of this podcast. So, quite a while back, where I talk about quantum leaps and quantum jumps. This is where I tell you about where quantum physics really comes in. I tell you about several studies that have been done in quantum physics that really prove what I'm going to tell you today. So, if that's something that you find interesting, go back to episode number 3. Again, I'm not 100% sure, 99% sure if it was episode number 3. Go back and listen to that. That is actually one of my most listened episodes to date. And I still, to date, get a lot of people tell me how mind blowing it was. But just to explain to you briefly and quickly about quantum physics. So, quantum physics shows us that at the smallest level, everything in the universe is made up of energy. What we think of as solid objects, like your desk, your phone, your chair, and even your own body, are really just atoms vibrating at different frequencies. And those atoms are not fixed in place. In fact, when scientists study subatomic particles, so particles that are smaller than the atom and they're inside of the atom, they find that those particles don't exist in one single state until they are observed. So until they are observed, they exist in what is called a superposition, which basically means multiple possibilities at once. So think of it like this. The particle could go left, it could go right, and I'm literally talking to you about particles that are inside of an atom, that is inside of your body or any other object, okay? So the smallest parts that make up our bodies and anything else that exists in the universe, okay? So those particles could go left, could go right, could spin one way or another. All of those options exist simultaneously at any given moment. But the moment an observation or measurement happens, the particle collapses into one option or one reality. So out of infinite possibilities, one becomes the actualized version. Now, if you apply that to your life, this is where it gets really exciting. I love this stuff because what quantum physics tells us is that there isn't just one fixed future ahead of you. In fact, at any given moment, there are infinite possibilities for you. At any given moment, it can change if you change the observation. So the version of you with no clients exists. The version of you with a fully booked calendar exists. The version of you running a multiple 7-figure business exists. All of those realities exist in potential at any given moment right now. And the version that becomes your reality is the one that you collapse into through your frequency and through your identity, or your observation. And this is something that I dive deep into in module 1 of my group program course, the Manifestation Accelerator, because I believe that once you truly understand the magic of quantum physics and how it works, you cannot not believe in manifestation. Like once you realize the science of it, and I break it down in very, very simple terms, like everyone who's done this course and this program always comments on module 1, like, this is incredible. I am mind blown. I've had clients asking if they could send this to their moms and to their cousins because they just want them to understand the science behind manifestation. Because when you truly understand something, and you truly, this is just a side note, when you truly believe how something, like you understand how something works, you have no choice but believe in it, right? And a lot of the reason for why a lot of people think that manifestation is woo woo or whatever is because they think it's not backed up by science. Now, I believe as a PhD doctor myself, science has a lot of limitations. So I definitely don't only believe things that science has like its stamp on. And I also, even some things that have, scientific evidence, quote unquote, I don't fully believe in it because there are a lot of powers behind the scenes. But we won't go into that now. But essentially, when you truly understand how something works, it is so much easier to believe in it. And once you truly believe in something, it happens, right? So this is why I start my manifestation accelerator with module 1, which is explaining all about the science and how manifestation actually works scientifically, but in very, very simple terms to explain to you how quickly things can shift. But that's why I say that quantum manifestation is really about collapsing timelines. And this is what I teach inside of my programs, inside of my private mentoring and coaching. Instead of thinking there's just this one long road where you slowly inch your way forward through visualization and a bit of like gratitude and raising your vibe, imagine there are hundreds of parallel roads running alongside each other. And they are all right ahead of you. At any given moment, you can choose a different road. Quantum manifestation is the process of just switching those roads, switching those lanes. You are jumping onto the road where your next level of reality already exists. If you imagine all of these roads, each one represents a different reality. A quantum jump is just moving from the road that you're currently on onto a different road, onto a different lane. And the way you make that jump is through shifting your energy or frequency and your identity. So essentially, when I say quantum manifestation, I'm talking about working directly with the two deepest layers of your being that actually create your reality. They are the root of your reality. And that is your frequency or your energy on the one hand, and your identity on the other. When you shift both of them, that is when the quantum jump happens. So let me break this down. Frequency is your energetic state. It's the vibration that you are carrying in your nervous system, in your subconscious mind, and in your energy field. And this is not just about being high vibe and happy all of the time. In fact, you can be feeling shit one day or whatever, just be like calm, grounded, but actually still be carrying the frequency of wealth and success. Or on the contrary, you can be someone who's quite high vibe most of the time, is happy, is energetic, but still carries the frequency of lack when it comes to money. So, frequency is much, much deeper than just mood or how you show up. It's the energetic baseline that you are tuned into, and that frequency determines what you attract. And then there is identity. Identity is who you believe yourself to be and how you see yourself at the deepest level. So, we talked last week about self image. This is what it is. Identity is essentially self image. So it is the answer to the question of who am I? If you see yourself as the kind of person who always struggles, who's not good enough, not special enough, not good with money, isn't quite ready for management or leading positions, then your reality will keep reflecting that back. But when you shift into the identity of someone who is the 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur, who is magnetic to clients, who thinks that abundance is just their natural state, then your external world reorganizes around that. So, together, frequency and identity are like the root code of your reality. And here's where the quantum part of quantum manifestation comes in. By shifting those two things, you can literally collapse timelines. Meaning, instead of taking years of repeating affirmations, hoping they'll eventually sink in and you'll manifest what you want, you shift your energetic frequency and your identity now, and the reality that matches that version of you shows up fast. When you work on those two things that are in the root of your reality, that's when your external world just shifts very, very quickly. And as I'm saying this, I think actually in the future, maybe straight away, maybe not, I'm not sure, I might just make separate episodes, like one all about frequency, one all about identity, to really give you a deep dive of how they work and how to shift them. So I want you to think of it like this. There are infinite versions of your reality existing simultaneously, as we said, as we talked about with those hundreds of rows that are in front of you at any given moment. There's the version of you who's still struggling to break through the income ceiling that you're at right now. There's also the version of you who's running a wildly successful empire with soulmate clients flooding in daily. Both versions and a million trillion others exist at any given moment. When you use quantum manifestation, you're essentially choosing the reality you want, and you're collapsing the time that it takes to get there. That's why I sometimes compare it to biohacking. Just like in health, where you find these shortcuts to speed up results, quantum manifestation is the shortcut to speed up results in your reality. So, what are the actual tools that we use in quantum manifestation? This is where things get really juicy, because we're not just talking about vision boards anymore. And this is something that I just got so excited about once I learned all of it. And I remember asking myself, like, why aren't more people talking about it? Why do we just hear the very surface level stuff? Well, hint, side note, it's because the powerful people in the world don't really want you to be able to manifest. But again, this is just me giving tiny little side notes. I might just get into these things more in the future. But the tools of quantum manifestation go straight to the subconscious and the nervous system, and they shift your frequency and identity at the core and directly. And my recode method, which is module 2 in the manifestation accelerator, actually shifts both at the root. So that is why I love the recode method, and that is why I actually sell it individually. So you can either buy the whole Manifestation Accelerator program, which again, I recommend to anyone to buy the whole program because the recode method is incredible, but the rest of the modules are really there to support and give you more tools and deeper tools to really enhance it. I see it as like the recode method being the initial step of shifting your frequency and shifting your identity. And then the other modules give you the most incredible tools, steps, guidance to be able to maintain that shift and support that shift. And those are tools that you don't hear anywhere else. But yeah, this is just a side note. If you want to buy the recode method, as always, the listeners of this podcast have 50% off. So you can check out the description box or show notes for that. And you can also join the waitlist for the Manifestation Accelerator. And by the way, anyone who buys the recode method can always use the money that they spent on that towards the Manifestation Accelerator if they decide to sign up. But let's get back to the tools. So for your energy, we have somatic and nervous system regulation practices. So those are things like breath work, like shaking, like EFT tapping, like vagus nerve activation, and even just simple grounding practices like earthing. These are huge because if your nervous system is stuck in fight, flight, or freeze, then no matter how much subconscious work you do, your body is still signaling that it's unsafe for you to receive your next level reality, your manifestation. And manifestation is never ever about forcing. It's about being able to receive and feeling safe to receive. If your nervous system doesn't feel safe to receive, then it will sabotage or block the very things that you are calling in. Now, for identity, we have various tools as well. The first one that I really love is ingredients and micro moments. I talk about it a lot. This is one of the first things that I give all of my clients. This is essentially a quantum manifestation version of affirmations. So instead of just saying affirmations that your conscious mind might believe in for a minute, but it doesn't really sink into your subconscious mind, the ingredients and the micro moments are tools to sink those affirmations into your subconscious mind. So this is something that I work on with all of my clients. And then we have things like subliminal audios as well. And these are also super powerful because they bypass the conscious mind entirely. When we listen to subliminal audio tracks, essentially what it is we just listen to frequencies and to music. And there are affirmations that are embedded in these subliminals, but the thing is, we can't hear those affirmations. So they are turned up to a frequency so high and a volume so low that our conscious mind can't hear them. And do you know what happens then? Those affirmations bypass the conscious mind and they go straight into our subconscious without resistance because our subconscious can hear them. Okay, our subconscious can hear so many things that our conscious mind cannot. So when these affirmations are embedded in those frequencies in a way that our logical mind cannot interfere with them and say that it's not true, that is where they go deep into the subconscious. It can literally just change our identity from the inside out so quickly. And what I love about subliminal audios is that we don't even have to do anything. We can just play them when we cook, when we clean, when we're at the gym, when we're sleeping, whatever that is. It is something that a few times a year I actually offer custom subliminals for clients. So this is something that I work with clients one-on-one to create their own custom subliminal with their own affirmations that are customized to them in their own voice as well. Because when we listen to affirmations that are embedded in the subliminals and they are in our own voice, our subconscious mind believes and trusts our voice the most, right? That is the most familiar to it. So that is where it has an even higher impact. And then there is hypnotherapy. So hypnotherapy is incredible for going into that deeply relaxed, receptive state where you can actually plant new beliefs at the subconscious level. Again, you bypass the logical mind, the conscious mind, and you plant new beliefs at the subconscious level. Instead of spending months trying to convince yourself of a new belief or a new thought, you can literally install it like software in your subconscious mind. And again, this is something that I do a lot in my private sessions and private mentoring, and it works like a charm. We also have our NLP techniques, things like recoding patterns of thought, shifting limiting beliefs, anchoring into new states. And these again work at the subconscious level and they allow us to reshape identity at a very, very deep level. And then there are practices like quantum leap meditations. And this is where you actually experience yourself in the frequency and identity of your next level self. And this is different from visualization. You don't just visualize your next level self, you become your next level self. You meet your next level self for however long the meditation is, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You really become that person, you meet that person, you quantum jump during the meditation. You feel it in your body and you lock into that state as if it's real now. And even when you leave that meditation, there is a part of you that has made that leap already. So it is a lot more powerful than just visualizing. It takes longer, which is why I'm not against visualizing at all. I think it's great and it's something that I do daily, but I make sure when I decide to quantum leap, I make sure to include quantum leap meditations at least 2 to 3 times a week. And that creates a really powerful, energetic imprint that pulls you into that next level reality quickly. Another one that I love is transcendental meditation because it takes you beyond the busy mind and into pure consciousness. You essentially transcend thoughts. And when you're in that state, you're not just thinking new thoughts, you're tapping into the infinite field where all realities exist. And it's a really powerful place to reset your baseline frequency and identity. When you come out of this kind of meditation, you have new ideas, new beliefs. It's just incredible. And then, of course, as I said, there are the energetic recoding practices like the recode method that I use, which allows you to release the subconscious gaps that are holding you in old patterns and plug into new patterns almost instantly. So the recode method shifts both your identity and your frequency at the core and instantly. All of these tools do the same thing. They bypass the surface level, the conscious mind, that 5%, and go straight to the root, the 95% that we are not aware of day to day. They shift your frequency and your identity. And when that happens, your reality has no choice but to match it and to catch up. So let's just make this really clear. Let me put the two approaches side by side. Regular manifestation is like trying to change your life by repeating a script over and over and over again, hoping that one day you'll finally believe it. Quantum manifestation is like opening up the code of the program of your brain, of your identity, of your energy, and rewriting it, rewiring it from the inside out. Regular manifestation can be quite slow. It can be inconsistent depending on your actual subconscious beliefs. It's heavily reliant on staying positive and honestly can leave you feeling really frustrated. It can leave you feeling like you're doing something wrong if you had a bad thought or a bad day. Quantum manifestation, on the other hand, is fast, it's repeatable, and it works even when you are not in the perfect mood because it's not about your conscious thought, your conscious mood in the moment. It's about your underlying frequency and identity. And when you shift those, it is okay to not always be high vibe. Things shift for you, anyways. And this is why I believe that quantum manifestation is non negotiable for entrepreneurs. When you are running a business, you don't have the luxury of waiting around, wishing, waiting, hoping that eventually the manifestation will come. Your vibe and beliefs will catch up. Your identity will catch up. You need to be able to shift fast. You need to be able to embody the identity of a leader, a CEO, a wealthy person right now. Every month, every week, sometimes even every day counts in business. And if your subconscious programming is keeping you stuck in old patterns, old wounds, you will keep seeing the same results no matter how hard you work. Just like those entrepreneurs who really use new technology or innovating marketing strategies, just like they get ahead, entrepreneurs who use quantum manifestation get ahead because they're hacking the most powerful system of all, and this is their subconscious mind and their energy field. And if this is resonating with you and you're thinking, okay, I want to learn more about these tools, I want to experience what it's like to actually quantum leap, then stay tuned because I have more incredible episodes and resources coming your way. We have the recode method, which I recommend anyone use and learn as a basis for quantum leaping. We have the manifestation accelerator, which is really the full package, which I cannot say this enough. When you truly implement the knowledge and the tools in that program, your life will change dramatically. We also have my one-on-one mentoring, which is coming up so soon. So if you really want to take it to the next level and have me walk you side by side, hand in hand through your quantum leap in your business, stay tuned. But for now, I want you to just sit with this. The reality you want is not far away. It exists right now. All possibilities exist right now. And the only question is, are you willing to shift your frequency and identity at the root so that you meet that reality now instead of 5 years from now? If you are ready, stay tuned. work with me in any capacity that you want, we of course have the manifestation mapping sessions as well, where I use multiple quantum manifestation techniques and my intuition in one session to really help you quantum leap massively in one session. So stay tuned, keep following, keep listening. If you can, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe. And if you're listening to this on the podcast, I would really appreciate if you can just rate us at 5 stars just to help spread the word and get other people to listen to this information as well. Because as I said, when I first learned it, I thought, why do more people not talk about it? So I want this to become widespread. I want as many people, as many soul led entrepreneurs to learn this and to use this in their lives. My mission is that every person that listens to this podcast gets to have a quantum leap in their business just from this podcast, just from these free resources. I want to help you quantum leap and manifest the best life that you can manifest. So thank you all for listening or watching if you're watching this on YouTube. I love you all so much, and I will see you next time.